Okay, stored procedures in SQL. Stored procedures in SQL. It is nothing but a stored procedure is a pre-compiled set of SQL statements. View also same. Set of SQL statements stored in a view. SQL statements stored inside the database. Okay, stored inside the database, which can be executed by calling its name. The difference between view and storage procedure is view particular view is there, and then you can use this particular view to write one more SQL select statement. This stored procedure is nothing but the function, the concept of functions in Python. Okay, the concept called functions. If you are familiar with all the programming languages, there is a concept called functions. Okay, in SQL, functions concept is nothing but stored procedures. What function will do? It will define a function first. It will define a function first, and it will store it in a variable. Okay, and then arguments will be there, keywords will be there. I'll tell you, don't worry. Arguments will be there, okay, for function. For example, I mentioned all of you in SQL function. I call only Padmachandiran, call Padmachandiran by using one function. Then only he will come out of the class. Okay, I have written functions for each one of you in this class. Once I go out, I call Padmachandiran. Then who will come? Sunil will come? No. The person whom I am calling, he will only come. Inside that, we are writing some SQL statements. That is nothing but you are calling some SQL statement to execute. Okay? You have a predefined structures of some queries. You are writing some queries, and you are calling something, some query at one place. That query output will be executed. Okay? Views, what you will do, you created a view, select star from, that is called calling. That is called calling. And here it is stored in a function format. Okay, is equals to left off. Till now we have written some built-in functions, right? Concatenate of, sum of, count of, average of. All these are called function callings. When you are writing sum of, how can it come to know like it needs to sum? Because on backend there is a stored procedure written. Understand? On backend, someone written like stored procedure for sum. Sum is nothing but you need to plus everything. Someone informed this sum. You need to someone calling you by using here brackets. You need to go there and you need to sum everything. Clear? So that is what called stored procedures. All built-in functions are written by using stored procedures. Clear? All the functions, all the aggregations, sum of, count of, minimum of, maximum of, left of, right of, substring, round off, seal off, how these will execute. If you are giving round off means it is automatically executing. How it is executing you don't know. If you understand the concept called storage procedure, then only you will understand why it is executing when I am calling. That is called function calling. Clear? That is called stored procedure. Understand? A set of SQL statement written under some bucket, and you are calling somewhere which is not in the database. You are in the database only, you are calling somewhere around. You don't know where you are calling. Wherever you are calling with the respect to the database name, it needs to respond to that calling. That is called stored procedure. There is a procedure, I am storing it in a function. So that's why it's called, it names as stored procedure. Clear? Clear? Arguments are nothing but whatever you are writing under here brackets. For example, let's take concatenate. You join two strings now. When you are concatenating, you have written first column name, comma, space by using double-ended commas, comma, and you have given the last name. Then first name and last name is segregated by using hyphen in between. That the values which you are writing under the here brackets, they are called arguments. Okay, they are called arguments. On back of it, on back of concatenate function, someone have written, I want 4 to 5 arguments. If the user enter, that means you are the user, enters that argument, execute the concatenation function immediately. That is called a stored procedure. Clear? Clear? What do you mean by stored procedure? What do you mean by stored procedure? A stored procedure is a set of SQL statements. This is like advanced word. You just say a stored procedure is a set of SQL statements stored inside the databases and which can be executed by calling this. Okay? A stored procedure is a set of SQL statement which can be in the data set. Whenever I'm calling, it needs to execute. That is what the definition of stored procedures. Okay. Why do we use stored procedures? In the sense, it will reduce the repeated SQL code. See, no need to write some. See, if you are not using sum of function, you need to write first column plus second column plus third column plus this value plus this value plus. How much code it is? It's a long code. If you have 10 records, it's okay. But if you have 20,000 records or 100 records, you can't write plus 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 to everything. This will reduce the code completely. Just calling the function, enough. Okay. Improve performance. It will improve the performance by executing fast. Okay. If you write that much query, it will execute line by line. MySQL is an interpreter which will execute line by line. Okay. Line by line execution at once, final execution it will queue. But here at once execute. What is the platform or what is the concept which will execute all at once? Developers, this question is for you. Tell me the execution part which will execute all at once. Compiler or interpreter? Compiler is the one which will execute everything at once. Interpreter is the one, it will check each and every line. It will take the data validation. If the valid data present, then only execute. If the valid data is not present, execute outside false. Error. That false is nothing but error. But compiler is not that. Whatever error is there, it don't care, it will execute at once. If it is error, it will provide error. If it is not, it will not. Any compiler language, C programming. Any interpreter language, Python. Python is the interpreter. Clear? And then increase security. Okay, you don't know what you have written on back of it. Just calling the function. Even the person who is accessing that, you don't know what you have written on backend. And you only know because you only created the storage procedure. It will go and sit in the databases in MySQL. Okay? Centralized business logic, reduce network traffic, make applications faster. These particular things, see, whenever a front-end developer is creating a form, you know forms? See, the login form is nothing but when you are logging into the Instagram, there is a login form, username, password. That is called login form. Whatever the values you are giving, that is called arguments. Okay, your username is an argument, your password is an argument. These two will go and sit in SQL stored procedure, and stored procedure is calling the query which is written on back of it, and that query will execute at once and it will give you the output. The output is it will enable you to go inside the Instagram account. Clear? Their data validation will come into picture. There is an API connection between front end and back end. Okay, that is called calling. API calling. Okay, with respect to the web page, this API behaves as a stored procedure. Clear? You are not familiar with the APIs, but developers know about it. Clear? And stored procedures for query. Normal query, reusable? No. If you just clear it, you can't. But here, if you call one more time, you can access. How many number of times you want to call, you can call. Right? Sum of function you can execute in all the queries. But the same query can be executed in all the values? You can't. Pre-compile? No, it's a pre-compile. Means it will automatically execute everything. Line by line. Okay? Performance, slower, and it is too faster. This will be line by line. This at once. Executed at once. That means it's faster. Parameters, there is no parameters for SQL queries, but here you need to give parameters. That is nothing but the arguments. Clear? Security, for this is low and for this is high because they don't know what they have written on backend. Do you know what they have written the query on back of sum of? You don't know, even I don't know. No one knows, that's called the security. But if they have written in that particular logic by using arithmetic operators you are writing, right? This column plus this column, I want this column. You can see what you are doing there. But here you can't see what they did. Clear? That's called the procedure. And the syntax we are going to see now. Stored procedure syntax. First let me execute this. So I executed mine. See here, there are two functions here. Begin and end. Begin, end. Stored procedure, you are beginning, you are ending. Two things are there. First understand, create a procedure. The syntax of creating procedure is create procedure. The syntax of creating database: create database, table, view, procedure, create procedure. You need to write what is the name of the procedure you want to give, and you need to enable the year parenthesis, closed year parenthesis, open year parenthesis, both you need to give. Okay, that is called, in this particular brackets you are storing this data. This query will be only stored here. Okay, this query which is started, which is ended, will be stored here. That means, okay, I created a stored procedure. Now I want to write begin with the query. So the begin command I need to use to begin the query. Okay, begin the procedure. When you are calling this, what happened? At once everything execute. Na? Compiler, what it will do? It will execute all at once. Whatever you have written under begin and end, it will not go line by line. It will execute at once. And the end will be the output. Clear? The end will be the output. Just now I said interpreter and compiler. Interpreter, for example, if my query is this, if my query is this particular, like example, 5 to 6 lines of query I have, it will execute first line first, second line second, third line third, fourth line fourth, like that. But compiler is not like that. 5 lines together at once execute. Okay, so that is what here, begin and end. Whatever in between this begin and end, execute everything at once, and then end as a value, and that value will be the output. Clear? And then if you want to access this particular stored procedure, you need to write call. You need to call. That's what we said now. Function calling. This concept is called functions in Python or somewhere. Here you need to call the function by using call. This is the one more command, call command. By using call function, you are calling the function. Clear? You are calling the function, then execute what it is. Customers, complete customer details will be here. Now see the procedure. I'm just creating the procedure. 1 minute. Oh, it's already existed. I already yesterday practiced. Okay. I'm just executing this customers table I got. But is this the query that I need to execute? We need to execute select star from customers, then only this output will come. But I'm writing call get all customers, it is executed. If I remove this also, if I execute somewhere in any other tabs, it will be executed. Okay. If I go to the joins table, if I write call get, but you need to understand, you need to know this one. Whether what is the name you have given, that you need to know. Call this one, it will give you output. Clear? Clear? That is called function calling in SQL. And the next example will go procedure with input parameter. Input parameter. I want to give some input. I want the details of that. Okay. Create procedures. Get customers by city. You know cities. How many cities we have? Multiple cities we have. From that, I want to select one specific city. Clear? And select create procedure. Get customers by city. So this is what actually called year brackets. You know, inside that year brackets, you are writing some arguments. You are allowing the user to write some arguments. 1 minute.